Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 13th episode for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts first on why we think the Commonwealth is being introduced so early in the TV series version. And spoiler warning, as per usual, if you guys have not seen The Walking Dead Season 8 Episode 12 yet. So I did a video yesterday taking a look at this new Georgie character. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll have it in the end screen videos for you guys here, with a discussion about this character and whether or not we think this character could be the television series version of one of the leaders of the Commonwealth, which is Pamela Milton, or Governor Milton, which I kind of like. It's kind of the name is kind of an Easter egg, right? Governor Milton, if you remember Season 3 of The Walking Dead. So that's kind of cool. But, seriously though, like, is it the same character? Is Georgie the television series version of Pamela, who is one of the prominent leaders in the Commonwealth? This is very, very strange what we're seeing happening in the Walking Dead television series right now, and it raises a lot of questions. I did a poll yesterday in that video, how many of us think that they're the same character, and when we started comparing the pictures in that, at time of filming right now, 83% in the poll, and you can vote too as well if you disagree, or if you do agree, go to that video and vote in the poll. It's top right in the cards section, so you can go ahead and leave a comment and vote in that video if you want to, or this one as well too, on whether or not you think they're the same character. But most people are looking at it, they're saying like they look exactly the same. Like literally, even the earrings. Now that we're comparing and we're going through, I'm seeing a lot of these comments. Even the earrings are the same. I mean, the attire is almost verbatim. Like it's closer in terms of a look than the Governor in the TV series versus the comics. If you guys haven't seen the Walking Dead comic book series, Governor really doesn't look anything like David Morrissey. He kind of has longer hair. He's got like black hair. He's got like a black mustache. He looks a bit like Danny Trejo. So he doesn't look like David Morrissey at all. Even the nationality looks like he could be, Hispanic or something. He doesn't really, the Governor version of the comics doesn't really look anything like. So she is closer in terms of a look to Pamela from the Walking Dead comic book series than even some of the other characters have been to their comic book series counterparts. So this one is really interesting, especially after seeing your guys' response to this, and I've seen some other kind of theories about this online already. One is the music concentration. The music concentration is something that the Commonwealth do in the Walking Dead comic book series. They have kind of part of their culture as a group is music. They like to have music. They have like a stadium and they have shows and they do things like this. They do like concerts where they play music and they have maybe, I don't know, dances, things like this. We haven't really seen too much because it's still so new, but this is a heavy concentration in the Commonwealth's culture as a group in the Walking Dead comic book series. So in the TV series version, we're just seeing so many things already from this new character, this Georgie character, that is just like so spot on. The look, the attire, even the earrings, even the the buttons and everything, just so similar to the comic book series version, Pamela, that it's uncanny, really. So it brings into question, if that is the case, why are we seeing the Commonwealth being introduced in the TV series version already? And the question came in from DarkMaeko, who says, why is the Commonwealth in it already? And he also said, I think it's the Commonwealth for sure, the very start. So the very start of the Commonwealth. And so I thought a bit about this, and I thought about the idea of even the name. So you could kind of compare her to kind of the opposite of Negan. She's somebody who probably is very similar to Negan in a lot of ways, with wanting to kind of join these bigger groups together, but in an opposite way. Rather than trying to dominate them and having some kind of pay-up system, taxation, this kind of deal. Commonwealth, the word, Commonwealth, New World Order, Commonwealth, so you have wealth, which in the zombie apocalypse is going to be your supplies, your food, maybe locations you could consider, fortified locations as something that is used. Real estate, same with real life, right? You have your ammunitions, you have water, you have all your supplies can really be thought of as your wealth, your ability to manufacture with mills and things like this that she talks about in the key. All of these different things are going to, are what we would consider to be wealthy in the zombie apocalypse. That's what wealth is. Gold is not really going to be useful anymore, but really it's going to be supplies. It's going to be that base level of trade that's really going to be considered to be wealth. Now, common, really you're talking about common among, so we're seeing probably, or at least the way the name, makes sense here, and maybe they're even giving us some details that we haven't really gotten in the Walking Dead comic book series, and this is all speculation here, but does it make sense to you guys, Commonwealth, where they share the wealth around, and they take different communities, and they kind of all join together? This could also explain why you could see a community that could have 50,000, people in it, like in the Walking Dead comic book series version, because in the Walking Dead comic book series version, I did feel like this community kind of came from out of nowhere, and it was just a really strange, kind of community to see, where you run into a group, it's like, oh yeah, we have 50,000 members. It's like, what? You have what? You have how many members? Because we're used to groups of like 50, the Saviors might have had, close to 200 or 150 or something like that. Hundreds, not even really thousands. Like, we haven't even seen a group yet that has 1,000. And in here, we're talking about the Commonwealth in the comic book series. If what they said is true, the number being 50,000, it's just a huge number. How could a group like that get to the size to have 50,000 is just unfathomable for us as viewers, when we're used to seeing Rick and we're used to seeing these groups where it's like one person coming and joining is a thing. Sadiq coming and joining, gets screen time when he's by himself. He gets screen time, whereas the Commonwealth is like, for them, they don't care about one person. They're looking to get people to join in common and share the wealth around, where you have maybe groups of hundreds. You get the whole joint surviving community to join. That's like 100 or, a few hundred people there after the war is all done, probably. And, you get these other groups out there. You get them to join as well, too. So you're basically, instead of her going to single people and getting them to join one at a time, she's looking to recruit or to bring in, I'm thinking, bigger groups of people that are already there. So groups that are in the hundreds, thousands, and, could you see, you get 1,000, let's say you have a few thousand people groups out there, you start getting them to join, and before you know it, you travel through different states and that, maybe even cross-border if you go to Canada or something, and not that we have that many people here anyway, but eventually you can get to a sizable group that could be in the tens of thousands. 50,000 still feels like a stretch, but since we're seeing it come in this early, if we're to believe that that's pretty much all she's doing is she's going around, and this is kind of the beginning of the Commonwealth right here that we're seeing in the TV series, or she hasn't really been doing this that long, and we could probably read into that based on her guards. Her guards don't have the same attire that the Commonwealth has in the Walking Dead comic series. They don't have all the gear on, they don't have all the weapons, they don't look that tough, to be honest with you, and they're not that intimidating. The Commonwealth in the comics, they look pretty decked out. They've got everything they need, and they're ready to mess some people up if they need to. So could this be kind of the start to seeing how the Commonwealth is coming together, and how she kind of starts like this and she goes around, and maybe what we're seeing later on in the comic book series is how effective it could be to get huge groups to join. So to go directly, scout out and find bigger groups, go to those groups and get them to join in their entirety. So then you get groups that very quickly get into the thousands, and it just spins out of control to where you get up to tens of thousands, 50,000, because everybody's going to want to join, and who's going to be able to mess with you? Groups like Negan and that, if the Saviors come at you and, you just tell them, well, that sounds all real well and good, and we'd pay up to you, except here's the problem. You have like 100 or 200 people with, I don't know, some ammunition. We have like, 10,000 people. They all have, fully stocked. So does that make sense for you to try to intimidate a group that big? So it's interesting thoughts for speculation, and we're going to have to see whether or not it is the Commonwealth and just the start to it, maybe, and just close to the beginning for her and for the Commonwealth getting started here. And, it is very interesting. If they have a time skip after this season or something, then we could certainly see that be the case, and it could make sense, have her come back in a couple of seasons or something, and, maybe either use that as like a happy ending for The Walking Dead. What if Rick and the group joined the Commonwealth, and then, there was a huge group civilization was basically restarted and they had survived the zombie apocalypse, and you could end the TV series in a happy way if you were to do something like that. So we'll have to see if that's what they're going for, and they're just kind of starting to plant those seeds now and get things started now to have it feel natural later on when we see a huge community and it doesn't feel like it just popped up out of nowhere. It feels like we saw her before and we got what she was up to, and we saw what she was going around doing, so it makes sense that you'd see a group that has 10,000 or more members in it when Rick and the others are to go and eventually join, if they do, if we even get there. So in terms of why we're seeing it already, maybe it's careful planning for the future. Maybe it's, just really getting that started now so it feels natural later on when we see a huge group like that. But there's other possibilities as well, too. Could we see, a long rumor has been maybe they will skip the Whispers in the TV series. I don't know where that came from. I really want to see the Whispers in the TV series. I hope we get to see some kind of first appearance or something like that before the end of this season in this back quarter. We've seen the Commonwealth start now, if it is them. I want to see the start to the Whispers or some kind of introduction here for the Whispers. JKC says the Whispers will be in Fear first. So that's kind of a bold prediction for Fear. So is that a possibility that maybe we're seeing the Commonwealth in the Walking Dead TV series because they will bring in the Whispers in Fear instead? They'll give that to Fear instead of giving that to the Walking Dead. I don't know. I would think that you would want to probably keep most of your good storylines for The Walking Dead and come up with unique original stuff for Fear. But if you do give stuff to Fear, like the Whispers arc instead, that will really build up Fear, a lot for comic book fans and for people to want to see it. Could be really exciting to see, but the only thing I would be worried about if they did that is that it would be detrimental to the original series, which is really the series that has brought The Walking Dead to such prosperity to begin with. It's not really Fear. Fear has done okay. Season 3 was really good. It's not really that widely accepted. So hopefully this season will help with that. But for JK, I mean, that'd be cool to see the Whispers in Fear. But, I'd just be really hesitant about it because I wouldn't want to see them give some of the good parts of the Walking Dead storyline to Fear, and then what's the Walking Dead TV series going to have to do? And it might not be as good because it's like you gave that to Fear, so Fear is awesome, but then this lags, so you kind of want them both to be good, I would think, and both to be substantial on their own and not to detract from the original series in order to pump up Fear even more. You're already taking Morgan and crossing him over, so do you really need to give a group of villains to Fear? I don't think you really need to do that, and it'd be sweet to see this season in Season 4 to see the Whispers if they were to do that, but at the same time, I think it could be so detrimental to The Walking Dead to give such a great group of villains to Fear instead that I personally, short term, it'd be cool to see this season, to see them sooner, but it would make me worry more that it would affect the quality of The Walking Dead original series and bring it down, which I would not want to see. So. But of course, write your predictions below. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Do you think that this new group with Georgie is the Commonwealth? First of all, do you think they might skip the Whispers and they might give it to Fear instead? What do you think about that if they did do that? FlexB123 says, dresses the exact same, must be her. It certainly seems like her right now. So it's just so strange to see them so early, even before the Whispers have appeared, really. Jay Moore says, if Negan gains the upper hand and gets control back, could Jadis still die this season? So do you think it's possible Jadis could be killed off by Negan? Yeah, I think so. I think that's absolutely possible. Her whole group is dead. So what they do with her in the future remains to be seen. They can do anything they want with her, and they could kill her off this season and have her kind of be an all-out war type of character they added in. Maybe similar to what they do with Simon, but we'll have to see if Simon even survives a season 2. I mean, he could. Rosita's hubby says, that naked walker was hot, LOL. So, the funny thing is, I kind of saw it. I didn't even mention it in the review, because that's how much I love this episode. They did say they were going to do that. Greg Nicotero said they were going to do like a naked zombie. And there was one in this episode. It's just that I was so high on Lucille and on the Rick versus Negan fight, and it was so awesome that I totally forgot about mentioning it in the review and everything. There's just so much goodness in the episode. It was awesome. And we'll do a couple more. TRPT Dude 13 says, did you notice that the lighter that Rick uses in the key has an ace of spades drawn on it, which is the same that Glenn used in Season 4. Symbolic that Rick tries to destroy Lucille with something used to belong to Glenn. And that's true. They did mention that in the behind-the-scenes video, the fight scene between AMC's channel's got it right now. You can check it out. the fight between Rick and Negan, they have a behind the scenes where they go into the special effects and how they lit Lucille on fire and how they did all this stuff. And it is the same exact lighter that Glenn had used, prop, I guess, for back in season 4, back in earlier seasons. Rick has now used the same lighter to light Lucille on fire. So Glenn sort of gets his revenge, right? His lighter is the one that's used to, kind of feels like we're making a big deal about almost nothing. But anyway, it's what it is. Andy Guadalupe says, great, awesome episode, and the Gore is back. Best show of all time. And I think we'll wrap up with that one for today. Been tons of videos on the channel for you guys. Lots of new stuff this week. If you got some time, you want to go through them, I'll have them in the end screen credits here for you guys and video credits. Absolutely, Walking Dead is back. Really excited to see it back. The Gore is back, which is awesome. Fantastic episode. And yes, for me as well, too, after this many seasons, the fact that they can still bring us some episodes like this one, like episode 12, which are just like amazing episodes, really just cements in. I don't know if any series, for me as a fan anyway, I'm speaking as a fan now, fan hat on, will ever be able to touch The Walking Dead for me. I don't know, because you want to say, well, there'll be these other series that'll come out in the future and they'll have better, in the future they'll have even better quality camera equipment, all the effects and everything will be even more improved over time. Things will get better and better. But the thing is that The Walking Dead has been on for so many seasons. So many things can go wrong with a TV series. You can see series, their ratings start to go down, they cancel them, or cast wants out, which we're even starting to see now with Walking Dead, maybe with Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie. So many things can happen. People can decide they don't want to do it anymore. The fact that they have done over 100 episodes of this series with this kind of quality, and people say, well, the quality of Walking Dead is not that good. Actually, I think it's really good for considering what you're comparing it to. If you're comparing it to an NBC, procedural crime drama, which they tried to turn Walking Dead into, I think the quality is amazing. If you look at Negan and Rick's fight in this episode versus what they do in procedural crime dramas. I mean, I really think they're going all out with the series and All Out War, doing the best they can, considering it is a TV show, 16 episodes a year, extended episodes, they add on Fear. Personally for me, it's like, I don't know if any show is going to be able to touch The Walking Dead. I mean, some shows you might say have better quality as far as like, okay, they did 5 seasons of Breaking Bad and it was amazing all the way through. So, you score it really high because you say, well, there's nothing wrong with it. But in terms of like overall enjoyment, I don't know if there's a series that's ever going to touch Walking Dead for me, because the overall enjoyment I've had of the series for so many seasons, when you add that all up and you compare it to 4 or 5 seasons of Breaking Bad or another series, for me, I just look at it, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to enjoy, have as much fun with any series as much as I have with The Walking Dead. And that's speaking honestly, 100%. There it is for you guys. However you're feeling, it's what it is. But compare it for yourself. Is there any other series you've watched as much as Walking Dead? Is there any other series you've enjoyed as much? Let me know, man. Write in the comments below. And if that's just me, if you don't feel the same way, cool, that's fine too. Of course, we all have our favorites. But for me, Walking Dead is just like, it's so far ahead, and it continues to kind of go further and further ahead. Anyway, that'll be it for today's video, guys. I'll see you again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.